Seches Bava Kamma Daf Dalid continues the Gemara's analysis and listing of the Avos Nezikin, the main categories of the damagers. We're first going to analyze what is Maveh. We saw two opinions as to the word Maveh, which is mentioned in the Mishnah as one of the prime categories. What does it mean? Each explanation will have to explain what the Mishnah meant when it said you can't learn Shar and Maveh from each other. And then we'll get into more specifically an expansion of the four categories, a brisa that brings 13 categories, and a brisa that even goes as far as 24 categories. So let's begin. So we said there's a machlokes between Rav and Shmuel what a maveh is. According to Shmuel, maveh refers to one of the damages of an ox. We said that an ox, a shar, has three main damages. There's keren, where it's violently attacks. There's shein, which is where it eats something, or it destroys something because of some hana, some pleasure that it gets out of it. And then there's regel, which is that it does neither. It just, as it's moving, it crushes things with its body. So what's maveh in the Mishnah? Shmuel says maveh refers to shein, the tooth damages. The Gemara wants to know then what's shar. So there's two versions here. The first one is Rav Yud, who says that shar is keren. The second one is going to be Rav, who's going to say that shar is regel. And we have a pretty much repeat of the same sugya according to both of them. And that is, the Mishnah had said that you can't learn shar and maveh out of each other. So why can't I learn each one out of each other? What does the Mishnah mean? So according to Yehuda, it's talking about keren and shein, and they each have a specific identifying factor. They each have their own unique trait, and that's why you can't learn each from each other. So the Gemara has to switch, though, if it's a reason, each factor is a reason to learn it, the reason that you're more likely to be chayiv for it, or the reason that you're less likely to be chayiv. The Gemara starts off by saying that it's a reason to be less likely to be chayiv. So you can't learn keren out of shein, because keren, it intends to destroy, it intends to damage, and you can't learn that from shein where it does not intend to, and you can't learn shein from keren because shein it's getting hana, and therefore you can't learn that you're chayiv for it from keren where it's not, the animal's not receiving hana from it. Now the Gemara asks that that's flipped. If it receives hana, it's more reason to be chayiv, and if it intends to destroy, it's more reason that you should be chayiv. So first the Gemara tries to defend at least the side that kavana is less a reason to be chayiv. The Gemara says you see that kavan is not a reason to be chayiv because you're not chayiv for something which your eved and amma, which your servants, destroy b'kavana. If your eved sets fire to somebody else's house, you don't need to pay for that. So you see that kavan is a reason not to be chayiv. The Gemara says no, that's very different. By an eved and an amma, you can't make the master chayiv for what they do, because otherwise every time they get upset at the master, they'll go set fire to something, and the master will have to pay for it. So that's why that doesn't work. But here we're talking about animals. You don't have that concern. So the Gemara therefore flips it. The Gemara says you can't learn each from the other because of its lack of that trait. You can't learn shein from keren because keren is chayiv because there's kavana lahazik. So you can't learn shein which is not kavana lahazik. And you can't learn keren from shein because shein there is hana, and keren there's no hana. You can't learn where there's no hana that you're chayiv. So now the Gemara says, well, if it's true that shein, that shar and maveh are keren and shein, why is regel left out? So the Gemara says, no, maybe regel is included by the end of the Mishnah where it rounds it up and it says that kishehizik chav hamazik, when the damage happens, the damager needs to pay for it. So that's to include regel. So the Gemara says, well, why is it hinted at? Why is it not listed explicitly like everything else? So therefore the Gemara goes to Rava's pshat, which is that it is regel and shein, and the Gemara therefore goes through the same thing. You can't learn regel from shein because shein has hana, and you can't learn shein from regel because regel is very common. So the Gemara asks, what about keren? Why isn't it mentioned? The Gemara says that's included by kishehezek mazik at the end. The Gemara asks, same question, why is not mentioned explicitly? The Gemara says not mentioned explicitly because it has the din of tam and muad. First 3 times that it happens, you only have to pay half the damages. We're listing things which go straight to the muad concept right away, not things which have a tam level. The Gemara now asks, why didn't Shmuel want to say like Rav that Mava is Adam, is a person himself who causes a damage? So the Gemara answers, because the next Mishnah, what we call the Seifa, says Adam. It lists Adam specifically there. So why would it say Adam here? If there it says Shar HaMuid, V'Shar HaMazik, B'Shar HaNezik, V'Ha Adam. So the Gemara says, why indeed is it not listed in this Mishnah? Why is it saved for there? So the answer is, here we're discussing a damage caused by your property, not caused by your body yourself, by the person himself. Now the Gemara asks, according to Rav, it says Adam in the next Mishnah. Why does Maveh here mention it? Why is it mentioned here and then there again? So the Gemara says, really, it belongs over there. But the reason why it's mentioned here is because to list it amongst the mu'adin, the things which you have to watch out for all the time, that you're mu'ad for them to happen. Now, Gemara asks, according to Rav, that shor and mave are, shor is all three aspects of shor, Karen, Shane, and Regel. And mave is a person. Why can't you learn one from the other? What is the mission when it says one is not like the other? So the Gemara says the reason is because a shor, if it kills a person, pays kaifer. He has to pay a specific fine in amount for the death of the person that he killed. There is no stricter punishment because it's just an animal. On the other hand, if a person who kills someone, if he killed on purpose, he gets the death penalty himself. And if he killed by accident, he has to go to Galus. There's no kaifer either way. So therefore, there is this aspect of the shar hamazik that has kaifer, and therefore you couldn't learn adam hamazik from shar hamazik. And the other way to learn shar from adam you can't, because an adam has the 5 types of damages, while a shar only has 1. A shar only needs to pay for nezek, the loss in value that you have. But when a person causes a damage, or when he has a damage, he has to pay for nezek, tzari, poisheves, and vaishes, all the 5 aspects, which we'll see later specifically what they are. And therefore you couldn't learn shar from adam. Now, the Gemara asks, when the Mishnah continues and it says that there's a tzad hashava, there's a common factor in all the objects, all the items that are mentioned in the Mishnah, tzad hashava that it says is that it's common for them to cause a damage, and therefore you have to watch them. So according to Rav, Karen is on the list because Karen is one of the 3 aspects of shar, but Karen, the whole concept of Karen is that it's not common to cause damage. That's why you only have to pay for half of it. So how could it say Karen as part of the tzad hashava of things which are common to cause damage? So the Gemara says we're referring to a mu'ad, referring to where it already happened 3 times, and therefore it's common for it to happen, and therefore it is common. So next the Gemara asks, and mava, which he says is adam, that's common to cause damage. People don't walk around causing a damage. So Gemara says it was referring to when he's asleep. Sleeping people commonly cause damage. Yeah, it sticks out his foot, and his foot is out, and therefore it's easy for him to trip people or to hit things, and it causes all kinds of damages. So next Gemara asks, and the other aspect of the tzad hashava is that you're obligated to watch it, to guard it. You keep an eye on it. That makes sense when you're talking about property. It doesn't make sense when you're talking about a person himself. You can't say you're obligated to guard yourself. So the Gemara says, well, according to you, when we have a different Mishnah of Karna, who says there are 4 others, Nazikin and Adam. And it says Shmiras Gufei Olav, you have to watch your guf. How does that make any sense? You don't have to watch it. So Rabbi Avo over there explains, you read it as follows: the 4 things you have to watch, and the body yourself, you have to watch your own body. We phrase it differently in a way that it makes sense for another. So here, you can say the same thing. You have to watch your property and your body. These are all things that you have to watch. So it fits there, so it'll fit here as well. Now, the Gemara asks, there are other ways to explain Mavet. Why do we only have these 2 explanations? The Gemara quotes Rav Mari, who says, why do they say that Mavet is water? We have a pasuk in Yeshaya that says, Kikdoyach eish hamasem mayim tive eish lo hidia shimcha l'tzerecha miponecha goyim yirgozu. So it says mayim tive. So you see tive goes on mayim. So where it says no. Mayim is plural. If it would tive was referring to mayim, I'd have to say tivu, plural. It's not how you read it. It's not mayim tive. It's tive eish. What it means is, the meaning of the words here is that when water goes on fire, it causes a bubbling. Tiva here means a bubbling. So it's saying not that the water causes the bubbling or that it is the bubbling. It's going on the fire and saying the fire causes the bubbling of the water. So it's going on fire. So you can't say that mayim is linked to the word tive. So Gemara says, okay, so then say that when it says maveh, it refers to eish. So Gemara says, what do you mean? Eish, fire? That's hever. That's mentioned in the Mishnah itself. Maybe you'll tell me, well, it's maveh and hever is explaining each other. So then why does the Mishnah say there are 4 things? It turns out there are only 3 things. Shar, bar, and maveh and hever. Maveh, which is hever. If you want to say that, no, there's really 4 because shar counts as 2. You have Karen and Shane, or Shane and Regel. So then how could we say that maveh has ruach chaim? Has a breath of life in it. If it's fire, it doesn't have a breath of life in it at all. And also, how could you say that those 2 are different than fire? What do you mean? One of them is fire. So obviously, Mava can't be fire. Okay, the Gemara now moves on. The Gemara brings a brisa Rav Oishia, who lists 13 prime categories of Nizikin, and these are counted as prime categories because each one is referenced in the psukim. So he has our 4 from the Mishnah, and he also adds the 4 Shaimrim, and he adds the 5 types of things that you pay if you hurt somebody, and that adds up to 13. So the 4 Shaimrim are a Shaimer Chinam, somebody who watches someone else's own property for free. The halacha there is that he's only chayiv for pshia, and you have a shoyel who borrowed it. He uses it and he pays nothing for it. He's chayiv for everything for einzin, just not for meis machmas malacha. And you have a nasi schar and a seicher, someone who pays to use it or gets paid to watch it. It's a bit of a machlokes about the seicher, but he is chayiv for gneva v'aveda. Now, the 5 things you pay for if you hurt somebody is you have to pay him for the damage you caused him. That's how much he's worth less on the market now than he was before. Tsar is how much pain you caused him. That's evaluated at how much he would pay to avoid the pain if he had to have whatever else was happening to him. Ripoy is the medical expenses. Shevis is his lost wages, and Voishes is the embarrassment, again, how much he would pay to avoid that. And of course, the 4 in our Mishnah, total of 13. So the Mishnah says, why did our Tana in the Mishnah only list our 4 and not these other 9? So the Mishnah says, Shmuel, who says that we're only mentioning shar and then mava doesn't mean adam. Mava means a shar type of an nezikin, so it makes a lot of sense. We're not listing things which a person does himself, we're only listing things which one's property commits the damage. So the Mishnah says, but according to Rav, we should mention these 9. So the Gemara says they're all included in Adam. Adam is Mava, Mava is referring to Adam, and it refers to all the things that an Adam can do himself. So when I ask according to Rav Oishia, why do you not include them all into Adam? So Gemara says we want to list 2 types of Adam things. We want to list the Adam that hurts another Adam or causes the damage to another person, and that's the Shaimrim, and that's the 5 types of things that you pay for hurting someone. And then you have the Adam that's listed in Mava, that's a person who injures a shar or injures some other property that someone else has. So Marsa, so then if you list those 2 things separately, so then for shar also list shar that damages another shar, and list a shar that damages a person. So Marsa, no, there's no difference in halacha between a shar that damages a shar and a shar that damages a person. It's the same halachos. However, for an Adam who damages a shar, he just has to pay the damage. When the Adam damages a person, he has to pay the 5 things. And therefore, they're listed separately. The Gemara now asks, you said that Rav Oishia was adding an Adam which causes the damage to a shar, but amongst the things that he added is the 4 Shaimrim. That's really a person that's damaging a shar, that he borrowed a shar and he's causing the damage to the shar. It's not really Adam that's miyamazik and Adam. So the Gemara answers, it's a different type of damage still. The other types of damages are caused by the person directly, where he with his hands or his body causes the damage. The Shaimrim cause the damage by not properly watching. They don't themselves do the destruction, and therefore it's listed separately. The Gemara now brings the next list. This is the Brayso of Reb Chia, who mentions 24 prime categories of Nezikin. He includes another 11 on top of the 13 mentioned by Rav Oishia. 11 that he mentions are different halachos, not necessarily different types of destruction that I mentioned in the psukim. So one is where someone needs to pay kefel, that is if he borrows something and he claims that it got stolen or lost while he himself had it, so he has to pay twice for it. Then is someone has to pay 4 or 5, that's if he steals an animal and shechs it or sells it, depending if it's a cow or a sheep. For a cow, he has to pay 4 times. For a sheep, he has to pay 4 times. For a cow, he has to pay 5 times the value. Then you have a ganev and a gazlan, 2 regular types of theft. One is sneaking in, and one is a holdup. Then you have Edim Zaymimin, where false witnesses claim that somebody owes money and tries to be mechayim them that way. And we have Onus and Mefata. If somebody's honest, a woman or Mefata her, he has to pay a knas. There's a certain fine he needs to pay for that. And then there's Moitzi Shemra, where he claims things against her and causes her loss that way. Then there's mitame, where somebody causes someone else's food that has to be eaten b'tahara to become tameh and therefore gets destroyed. Midameh, as if he mixes truma into chulin, and therefore it's only all valued at truma, and which is worth less than chulin because it can only be sold to kaihanim. And the last one is menasech, where somebody takes someone else's wine and makes it into yayin nesech, thereby devaluating it that way. So those are the 24. And the Gemara asks, why did Rabbi Ishia not list these 11 that are on Rabbi Chia's list? So the Gemara says, because these are all knas. These are all, you're not paying for what you took, you're paying a punitive amount. And it's not a restitution, it's a punishment. Now the Gemara has to work through all 11 and make sure that they really are punitive and not restitution. So the Gemara first asks that when if you steal something, you have to return it, that's restitution. So the ganav and the gazlan, that's restitution. That's not knas. So to that, the Gemara answers, you're right, that's not knas, but that's included in the shaimrim that Rav Ishia mentioned. The shaimrim that Rav Ishia mentioned could claim that something was actually stolen, while they themselves are the ones who are stealing it. Included is that they need to pay for that, and therefore it's not mentioned as a separate thing. Now, why does Reb Chia then mention it separately? So Reb Chia says it deserves a separate category because by the Shaimrim, you took possession over it with heter and then turned it into theft, while these other ones, where you have a straight-up theft, where you literally took possession of it through theft, it's a totally different thing and deserves its own category. Now, the Gemara is going to go through more of these, which we will see on the next daf.